What's going on, guys? Kevin the Tech Ninja here, and today we're taking a look at the Nokia 9 PureView. And this phone is extremely unique. It's something that we've never seen before because there are 5 cameras. Before I begin, this video is sponsored by HMD Global. These are all from Zeiss, and they have a 12 megapixel count with an f1.8 aperture. Now, Zeiss is a legit glass manufacturer. My lenses that I use on my Sony camera that I'm shooting with right now are actually Zeiss lenses as well, so you know you're getting something quality. Now, of the 5 cameras, 3 of them are black and white or monochrome sensors, and the other 2 are RGB. And when taking a photo, all these cameras work together. These can capture up to 1200 layers of depth, which is a feature you can toggle off and on. Now, depending on the scene, each lens can capture 4 shots at one time with the depth mode enabled. Now, this camera really shows its true power when you enable the RAW feature. Now, people always talk about RAW when it comes to photography. You gotta shoot in RAW, and essentially what that is, it's a non-compressed image, meaning you have more flexibility with the image. You can adjust the lights and adjust the darks and the color and the contrast. All those things you can do a lot more with the RAW image, and this is no exception. And a final photo can be up to 60 megapixels, which gives you incredible detail to work with. But if you're not doing the RAW photos, then the PureView 9 actually does 12 megapixel photos. With the monochrome sensors on the phone, you can take true to life black and white portraits. Now, instead of this just being a normal filter, these are genuine photos, and it's captured at 2.9 times more the detail than regular photos. And all this is possible because Nokia has the PureView processing. And this processing is different compared to other phones' processing, and it does take a little bit longer, but it's actually handling way more photos and way more data than just a standard camera. The phone comes with Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 octa-core processor, but this is the first phone to take advantage of some of the features that other phones aren't. So this is the first phone to capture and process images simultaneously. The phone can effectively split the work between all of the CPU cores and make them work together. This camera also boasts AI technology, which actually can pick each lens to say which part to focus on. In fact, with all the auto adjustments the camera makes, the phone sensor can take in 10 times more light than a sensor of a smaller type, according to Nokia. So the front-facing sensor is 20 megapixels, and it gives you 12.4 stops of light. While it does a pretty good job with selfies, it does not have the same HDR processing power as the back camera has, since there's so many different lenses on the back. Now, what I find with the camera that is most impressive is that after you take a photo, you can adjust the focal point. Now, that's not new with a lot of other cameras, but what it's actually doing is adjusting which lens is the primary lens in the picture instead of it just being a blurry filter. Take a look here in this picture of this little seahorse that I have. I can move the focal point around in the scene, and I can grab different things in the scene to focus on, or if I put it on the foreground, you can really see the background blurring out. I think that looks really good. And also, if you take a look at these pictures here with those Funko guys, you can see I can focus on Randy Watson in the background, or I can put it back on Black Panther, and there's a real difference between these two. Also, when shooting in RAW, when you do touch up these photos, you have a lot of options built into the phone. It actually uses Google Photos to edit the photos, and it does a pretty good job with it. And you can also use Lightroom. That's actually the software that I prefer to use. I found this camera to be most impressive in low light. Here's a picture that I took standard JPEG in my garage. That is very junky, by the way. Please don't mind that. And you can see here, it's very dark. There's a little bit of light right here. But here's the image I took in RAW. You can see how much more light and how much more detail there is, and it looks like a completely different scene, but I took this at the exact same time. Another picture here of this wall in JPEG. You can see here this is sort of washed out where the sunlight is hitting the wall, but in RAW, that data is still there and it's not a washed out image anymore. And that's not me editing the photo at all. I could go through and edit the photo and make it look a little bit different, but this is straight out the camera RAW compared to straight out the camera JPEG. And then also when we discuss monochrome just grabs so much more detail. Here's a picture of one of my coworkers. You can really see the details and everything on this picture. It really grabs everything from this picture and it looks really good. I think this is probably one of the most realistic photos I've taken with the cell phone. I think it looks really, really good. So I did talk about the camera a ton, which is the main feature of this phone, but it is also a phone, so let's talk about the specs really quick. As I mentioned, it is a Snapdragon 845 processor, and it's definitely snappy with the performance as expected, and you also have 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, but there's not a micro SD card. So this is Android One, which means that this is going to be as close to stock Android as possible, and it's just very clean and bloatware free. So with Nokia, you do get a 5.99 inch Quad HD OLED panel, and it comes protected with Gorilla Glass 5, and that makes it pretty rugged. Also IP67, which is water and dust resistant. The screen is HDR10, so you can definitely see these photos you're taking and really has some pop to it. And because it's OLED, you obviously have the blacks that are extremely deep, and there's an always on display feature. So even though this phone is very camera heavy, they did insert the in-body under the screen fingerprint sensor. So the fingerprint sensor isn't perfect, and HMD is aware of it, and they're working on an update to fix this. Once you get a rhythm, you can use it, but I prefer just using the pin or the swipe to get into my phone. And this phone also does have face to unlock, and it's actually using a truly secure face to unlock feature, which gives you the highest in security. The Nokia PureView also has a 3320 milliamp battery, and this is just enough to get through the day, so no issues there. But you also do have a Quick Charge 3.0 cable, which is a USB-C, and it supports wireless charging for a quick top off if that's what you want to do. So that was the Nokia 9 PureView camera feature focus video. Want to really dive into this camera because it is special. I mean, not every day you see this many lenses on the back of a camera, but seeing the phone actually take advantage of these lenses is really impressive. It's using Leica technology. Not sure if you remember the Leica Light, which was a camera that had all these lenses, and after the fact you can adjust aperture, you can adjust your exposure and all those things. You can definitely do that with this phone, and that's extremely impressive. As I said, it is a phone too, so you do have phone features, but I do think the star of the show is definitely going to be the cameras. Anyways, guys, that was my quick dive into the phone. If you want to see the camera samples, I did post them in a Google photo album, and I had that linked down below. Anyways, guys, Kevin the Tech Ninja here. Have a great day. I'll at you guys later. Peace.